Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something the dating gurus won't in today's world. Attention is currency. And when it comes to women, the man who knows how to leave a lasting imprint on her mind, not just her heart or body, is the one who stays winning. So, here's the truth. She'll be thinking about you all day if you send this. And no, it's not a shirtless selfie or some overused pickup line. It's much deeper and way more powerful in the world we live in today. Attention is no longer something easily given, it's earned. And in the realm of romantic dynamics, particularly with women, attention has become a highly valuable currency. We're living in a digital age where distractions are everywhere: social media, work notifications, entertainment, endless scrolling, all competing for mental and emotional space. So, for a woman to think about you all day, you have to understand how rare and precious focused attention has become. It's not enough to just be present, you have to be memorable. Many men make the mistake of thinking that constant communication or flashy displays will do the trick. But in reality, the woman you desire is far more likely to think about you when you engage her mind and spirit, not just flood her inbox. Think about it. There are probably 5 or 10 guys texting her the same old things: hey beautiful, good morning, what are you up to? None of that sticks. None of that carves out a space for you in her thoughts. Women don't get mentally attached to frequency, they get attached to impact. So if you want to stand out, you need to treat her attention like the treasure it is. And the man who earns that treasure is the one who brings presence, thoughtfulness, and emotional awareness into every interaction. It's about mastering the art of making her feel something powerful and authentic, and that, more than anything else, is what she will remember when her phone is quiet, when she's at work or lying in bed alone. The man who can interrupt the noise and give her a moment of meaningful connection is the man she won't stop thinking about. One of the most common mistakes men make when trying to connect with a woman is leaning on overused, cliché methods of communication. Messages like "good morning, beautiful," or sending heart emojis, or repeating "how was your day," lack any real impact. They don't provoke emotion, curiosity, or excitement. They simply blend into the background noise of every other average interaction she's had. If your words could have come from anyone, then they mean nothing. This is why originality and intentionality are absolutely key. A message that's tailored specifically to her, that references something unique about your last conversation, or something you know she cares about, is infinitely more powerful than any sweet nothing. Women are deeply perceptive, and they can immediately tell when a message is generic versus when it comes from someone who truly pays attention. Sending something that says, "I just walked past that bakery you said reminds you of your childhood. I almost went in just to taste what your memory might feel like," is far more impactful than sending a photo of your lunch with "wish you were here." It shows that you're tuned in, and more importantly, that you care enough to remember the small details. That level of presence is rare, and it stands out. It makes her feel special. It tells her that out of all the things competing for your attention, she holds a place in your thoughts, and in return, you begin to occupy hers. Intentional messages are like seeds. You plant them once, and they continue to grow in her mind throughout the day. So if you're truly serious about standing out in her world, stop recycling the same dry lines. Be original, be specific, and be deliberate. That's how you make her think about you long after the message is read. If you want a woman to remember you, to truly crave your presence, you must stop focusing solely on her physical beauty, and instead aim to speak directly to her emotions and intellect. Far too many men obsess over complimenting a woman's looks, not realizing that this kind of validation is short-lived and easily forgotten. Women are used to being told they're beautiful, but what they're not used to is someone who sees their soul. What she'll remember is the man who notices the way she lights up when talking about her passions, who respects her ambition, and who makes her feel emotionally safe. When you send a message that says, "I admire how you balance your career and still make time for your family," that kind of strength is rare. You're no longer competing in the league of shallow men. You've entered a deeper arena where emotional intimacy and thoughtful affirmation reign supreme. A woman desires to be known, not just observed. And when your words reflect that you've taken time to understand her mind, her experiences, and her vulnerabilities, you create a magnetic pull. You're not just another guy, you become a source of emotional fulfillment, something she will come back to again and again in her mind. And remember, emotional engagement leads to mental preoccupation. The more she feels emotionally seen, the more she mentally replays your voice, your words, your energy. That's how you build anticipation, desire, and yes, obsession. So instead of focusing on how she looks in her latest photo, focus on what drives her, what excites her, what scares her. That's the kind of message that doesn't just flatter, it resonates, and when a message resonates, it lingers. That's how you secure a place in her thoughts, not just for a moment, but for the entire day. There's something incredibly powerful about a man who knows how to use his voice, not just the words he says, but how he says them. In a world of dry texts and lazy emojis, a well-delivered voice note can be intoxicating. Your tone, your cadence, your energy, all of it combines to create an experience that text simply can't replicate. And when done right, it stirs emotions that linger far beyond the moment. A woman may forget what you wrote, but she won't forget how your voice made her feel. When you say something like, "I don't know why, but you crossed my mind just now, and I felt like I had to hear your voice," in a calm, low, self-assured tone, it sends a signal straight to her emotional core. It evokes a sense of mystery, intimacy, and presence. She begins to wonder what's behind your words, and that wondering leads to more thinking, more replaying, more craving. The mystery you create in your communication is what keeps her emotionally tethered. Don't give everything away. Let there be subtle pauses. Let your voice suggest what your words do not explicitly say. This balance between vulnerability and restraint, between clarity and ambiguity, is magnetic. It leaves space for her to fill in the emotional blanks, and in doing so, she begins to build her own narrative of you in her mind. That's the narrative that will keep playing throughout the day. It's not about manipulation, it's about emotional engagement. And emotional engagement happens when your voice carries not just information, but feeling. Master that, and you master the art of staying in her head and her heart all day long. One of the most underestimated tools in communication is timing. It's not just about what you send, it's about when you send it. Predictable messaging loses impact quickly. If she always expects a text at 9 a.m. and gets one at 9 a.m., you've become part of her routine, not her excitement. But if your message arrives just when she's least expecting it, say in the middle of a stressful meeting or when she's winding down after a long day, it becomes a moment of emotional contrast. That contrast is what makes your message stand out. It doesn't just say, "I'm thinking of you." It says, "I know how to make you feel seen when you least expect it." And that's powerful. You become a moment of calm, of warmth, of connection, something she didn't even realize she needed until it arrived. You break through the noise. This is especially true when your message is light yet thoughtful. Something like, "I just had the most random memory of you laughing at that silly joke last week made me smile out loud." At 3 p.m. on a busy workday is the kind of disruption she welcomes. It's the emotional equivalent of a warm breeze in the middle of chaos. The best part, She doesn't just appreciate the message in the moment, she replays it later, again and again. It becomes her favorite part of the day. And you become the person she emotionally associates with comfort, fun, safety, and connection. That kind of strategic spontaneity is gold. It's not about being available all the time, it's about being present at the right time. That's the key to becoming unforgettable. At the heart of it all, the true secret to staying in a woman's thoughts is making her feel genuinely seen, heard, and understood. These are fundamental emotional needs, and when fulfilled, they create deep and lasting mental attachment. Women are often expected to be strong, beautiful, accommodating, but rarely are they made to feel truly understood in their complexity. So when a man comes along who listens actively, speaks thoughtfully, and communicates in a way that validates her inner world, he becomes emotionally significant. A message like, "I noticed how you always make time for others. Even when you're clearly exhausted, it's both admirable and something I hope you don't forget to do for yourself too," shows depth. It shows care. It shows empathy. You're not just acknowledging what she does, but you're speaking to who she is. That level of emotional reflection is magnetic. She begins to feel safe in your presence, even if it's just through text. And safety breeds attachment. You become a rare space in a world that often overlooks her deeper self. She starts looking forward to your messages, not just for what you say, but for how they make her feel. In a sense, your presence becomes a mirror that reflects her best, most cherished qualities, and that emotional mirror keeps her coming back. She'll check her phone for you. She'll reread your messages. She'll think about what you meant, what you noticed, and how you said it. All of that creates an emotional footprint, one that lingers far beyond the screen, and that, more than charm, more than good looks, is what truly makes you unforgettable.